How's it going, everyone? Today we have Gio Perez with us. He has a black belt in Hapkido, which is a Korean martial art. He is a filmmaker, fight choreographer, and action actor. He has done professional fighting, has taught Hapkido, kickboxing, and has helped his local church with media. He is married and has 2 kids. So welcome, Gio.
Oh, nice to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for being here. We're so excited.
We're excited to have you on this podcast, and I think you bring a lot to the table. We were just talking a little bit and just hearing your story, and it's just like, it's amazing, and how much wisdom you bring. I think it's a perfect fit. So thank you so much for your time.
Mm-hmm. I've been trying to, it's funny because I tell all my friends, I'm like, I'm going to join like a UFC gym and like learn how to fight, because I feel like if anyone ever like comes up to me and or like says something about my wife, I'll just be like, just look away, babe, like just walk away.
Yeah, it's the best thing to do. I think take on practice some running. Right? Get good at running. Yeah, I always tell you know what, you don't need to, now everybody seems like they know martial arts, so you don't want to get slammed to the floor or anything like that. Might as well just, hey, you know what, just turn the other way, run.
Yeah.
Save yourself.
I tell her, I'm like, look, you didn't marry me for my fighting skills or anything like that, so I think we're in the clear. But.
Okay, good.
So Gio, you're a black belt. Tell us how that started.
Well, I moved to North Hills, and we used to live in Canoga Park. That's where I grew up. We moved to North Hills, and when I moved into this building, there was a guy that was practicing martial art. He was the son of the landlord or the manager, of that building. So I looked at his, he had this whole collection of medals and trophies, and I asked him, hey, what is this? He was like, oh, these are martial art trophies. It's all the stuff that I done within martial arts. And I asked him, hey, why don't you teach me? I want to learn some of it, before this, I was watching like martial art movies, and, you're watching these guys do some amazing stuff, but you can't do it, right? You think you do it, right? But you can't, right? So he started teaching me.
How old were you at this time?
I think I was probably maybe 11 or 12, somewhere around there. And he started teaching me, but he left. They moved to Texas, and I was left without a teacher, right? So I was just practicing everything that he had taught me. And a friend of mine, he told me about recreational, was it like a program they had in Sepulveda Recreation Center. And there was a teacher there teaching martial arts. I didn't know what it was, but I went to check it out. So the first day I showed up, I saw these guys that were practicing, right before the teacher showed up. And I wanted to see where my skills were at. So I told one of the students, hey, do you mind sparring with me? So he said, yeah, sure. So we started sparring. And I did a couple kicks, couple punches, and, I was pretty quick, but he got me in a couple locks, took me to the ground, and then I was unable to do anything. So, I was like, wow, there's so much in martial arts. I thought it was just kicks.
Just hitting people.
So much, So, yeah. And then I kind of stepped away, and the teacher showed up. It wasn't a basketball gym, but at that time, they would turn that into a traditional martial art dojo. So when he showed up, the whole energy, everything would change, and they had so much respect for him. He would walk in, everybody stopped what they were doing. They would salute when he would come in, and he was a very tough teacher, and he was very meticulous in seeing any mistake anybody was doing. So I liked that. I saw that. I was like, wow, this guy is, it's crazy, and he would yell. It was just crazy. So yeah, I came back and I started practicing. I started getting better. At this time, I think he had maybe like around 50, 60 students in that class. So I was all the way in the back. I mean,
Was this like a beginner's class? Like
it
was all mixed.
It was all mixed. You had advanced to beginners. Everybody would do the same thing. You just had to catch up with what even the guys that were practicing there for a while. You had to catch up and stop if you had to, because you couldn't catch up. But my brother saw that I was getting better, so he actually joined the class too. And bit by bit we started seeing people quitting. People start their lives, and go to college or start their families, or it was too tough and they started quitting. And then we became black belts. I think it took me like 5 years to be able to get my black belt in that class.
Is that like average for people to?
It's yeah, it is. I would say now it's a little bit faster. I don't know, like when you see certain schools that there's this term that they called McDojos, and yeah, it's the term that these guys in martial arts have brought in. It's all these cookie cutter schools that are pretty much just doing certain routines, certain practices, just so you could get your black belt, and then you go out with a black belt, you really don't know anything.
It's like a money scheme, like just.
It's not I mean, it's a business,
It is.
A business. Yeah,
my cousin does that. My cousin actually practices.
Your cousin's a crook.
No, my cousin's a crook. No, my cousin actually she practices a form of martial arts. I don't know which one, but. She would tell me stories with her like coach or her masters, and she was like, I want to go to the next level. I want to get the next, like, I guess, color belt, but there's certain tests that they have to do, and then she's like, there's some people there that are specific colors that they should not be specific colors, like just the way they like their form is off and everything. And then she's like, now it's like, I want to be a black belt, but I tell my master, don't be easy on me. Like, I want to actually earn it,
I want to represent what I have, right? Yeah, I think that's very important, because you don't want to go out in the street and feel that you're a black belt and suddenly you're going to get beat up. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't know how to defend yourself. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I saw with this class, is that, he was actually teaching you in a way that, you were actually learning to defend yourself, and you were at the actual level where you were. And then, yeah, you're right. There's a lot of schools that you see people with different belts and they don't look the same, but then you look at traditional martial arts, like you see, like I don't know if you ever seen those kung fu videos on Instagram, and then you see the little kids and they all look similar, they all look like really good, right? Because that's the way they would teach, and they would teach all of them. They had to go through the same type of training. There was no privileged type of training, or there was no everybody, what is that new thing now in schools, like everybody could win, or everybody what is it,
everyone
like
gets a trophy.
They don't have first place trophy anymore. It's you get participation trophy.
You had to earn it, man. And I think that's, to me, I mean, coming from practicing martial arts and seeing that, I really don't like just giving somebody something that they didn't earn. And it creates this false, feeling, and it's a false confidence, I would say, and it's not good. It's.
Do you give out belts since you teach too, or?
Yes, we do have a belt system, and but I don't have a black belt. I've been teaching for a while. I don't have a single black belt yet. I think I only have a red belt, a brown belt out there.
I think that's cool to say, like, What are the orders and colors? Are they different for like different like karate and mixed martial arts, or they're all like similar?
No, they're different. Different styles have different colors, but they start, like, for example, in my style is you start with, of course, white belt, right? Then you move into yellow belt, then purple belt, then green belt, then blue belt, then brown belt, then red belt, then black belt.
Oh, okay.
So that's the structure, right? And each one signifies something. Huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, do you spar with your students?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, they have to be able to move, or else I'm teaching you. I mean, you have to become 3-dimensional. You know, we are 3-dimensional. So, you know, if they're only practicing kicking and punching, but they don't actually get the feel of it, then it doesn't become practical in what you're learning. So it's not going to work. So you do have to be able to get in front of somebody and be able to do your techniques, or else it's worthless because you don't see the actual application. So it's very important to be able to practice and, you know, and have a sparring session with people, so you get that feeling, and you know how it feels to get a punch, or you know how it feels to get your, you know, knocked out because they punch your stomach, and you learn how to be able to build your body in a way that, you know, you're ready for anything.
I feel like I need that. I just need to get punched in the face so that I'm not scared.
So you're not scared. Like, I know how it feels.
I know how this feels. So you know.
I know how it feels to get knocked out. Like,
so Hapkido is a certain type of martial arts, right?
Yeah. Hap means coordination, ki energy, and do is the way of coordinating energy. So the philosophy in it is to be able to use the opponent's energy against them. Mm-hmm.
Almost like tiring themselves out or something, you know, or how do you mean?
So let's say if you're attacking me, then I'm using your own force, or using you know, circular motion to be able to move you around and use that energy that you're attacking me with, and be able to move you somewhere else, or you know, get you off balance, to be able not to use so much force. But if you have to, I mean, you have to, you know, punch somebody or kick somebody. But if you don't need to, then you just use them and be able to lock them up. And kind of like when you see jiu-jitsu or ninjutsu, you know, they do a lot of techniques like that, where it's almost like a Rubik's cube. You know, you're setting up the guy where he's thinking that he's being more aggressive, or he's beating you at the fight, but in reality you're setting him up so he trips on himself, or be able to lock him in a way that you put him into a choke or an arm bar, or, you know, it's a mind game. You know, I think you get a lot of people that are very smart, you know, I would say, you know, young men or kids or men that come in to practice, and they start putting all these pieces together, and they start learning all these, you know, they call it llaves in Espanol. Son llaves, you know, like or locks, you know, and they get good at it, and it becomes a game, because every time you see somebody move a certain way, you already know, you're kind of like 1 or 2 steps ahead, and you're kind of waiting for that person to make that move, and you're already just setting up that person to be able to fall into that trap. So you know, the word martial art, if you think about it, it's martial, it's military, you know. So, you know, if you're not practicing that, then you're just practicing arts.
Yeah,
so not really martial arts.
But there are people that I've seen some competitions sometimes where it's not even about sparring, but it's more about form and how it looks and flows. Is that a thing? Because like I see movies, like I saw Karate Kid, and you see like these schools with a bunch of kids, and they're all doing their form, and it looks so good.
That's
I'm like,
karate though, right? Like, so that would be different.
Well, the movie you're talking about, I mean, they call it the Karate Kid, but they're practicing kung fu, right? Yeah. They're practicing kung fu.
I feel cheated.
It should have been called the Kung Fu Kid, not the Karate Kid.
What about Cobra Kai? You've seen Cobra Kai? The new show?
Oh yeah,
Netflix?
yeah. I did. Oh yeah, I like it. I really like it. I wonder who the fight choreographer is for that, because they're doing a very good job. You know what they're doing. So and plus, you know, they're getting a lot of fans that are not only martial art practitioners, but, you know, and they're just following that great story, which is, you know, about the bully, but not now we're putting ourselves into his thoughts, right? So,
I like it.
It's a good twist.
So your fighting abilities and the fact that you're a black belt has led you to use, you know, your skills in things like movies, short films. How did that happen?
Well, you know, I started watching, you know, martial art films. And I mean, if you talk to my family, if you talk to my wife or my kids, they're like, Dad, why are you always watching a martial art movie? You know, why are you watching this? You always want to watch a martial art movie or something that has some action with it.
What are favorites?
Man. I mean, right now I would have to say John Wick.
John Wick is so good.
I haven't seen that yet.
Dude, it's so good.
I got to see that.
Right now, yeah. And there was a guy on Instagram that I follow. I forgot his name. I know he does the choreography for that film. Mac, I think his name is Mac. Okay, something like that. But anyway, I think you see a lot of really practical techniques in that film. You know, I mean, of course it's exaggerated, you know, but a lot of the moves that they're using, I mean, they're very real. And I know that the actors had to go through rigorous training to be able to get to that level, to be able to portray them doing, you know, a lot of those stunts.
Keanu Reeves is so good, man.
He is.
From The Matrix to just, that guy's a beast.
Yeah, he's always working, and you know, he keeps himself humble, I've heard, right? And so, yeah, and so yeah, so getting into film. So I started watching films, and you know, I guess it's a dream of mine to be able to do films, work with people that are actors, and help them out in a way and put things together for film. When I was practicing, I used to teach an advanced class in Studio City. It was the main headquarters for my martial art master that, believe it or not, you know, they had been teaching there since the 80s. What is it, like almost 40 years. And because of what happened with the COVID, they had to close down this year. So I know it's affecting a lot of martial art places, you know, because of, you know, you're not able to train with, you know, people. And so it has affected not only, you know, I would say my teacher or my master, but I know that there's a lot of martial art teachers out there who had to change with what's going on. I mean, now they're using Zoom to be able to teach, but it's not the same. You know, it's not the same, and we're all praying, and I'm praying that everything goes back to normal, so you know, they're able to keep doing what they love and what, you know, and, I mean, that's the way they bring their income too. So yeah.
What projects have you done as far as movies and short films and stuff like that?
Well, you started okay, let me tell you a story how I started. So you start going into films being like an extra, you know. I think that's the first thing that we started with. There's something called central casting. I don't know if they're still around, but they, you know, they book you, they send you out to, you know, be extras for different shows, and then you get to visit all these lots, like, and you get this feeling. It's like, oh man, I hope, you know, somebody notices me, you know, when I'm here. But most of the time you're there, you're not getting paid as much, and you're just there because you love it, right? But bit by bit, I started meeting more people and started helping them. And I think it's you have to collaborate with people that are doing their stuff, so they could get to know what you know how to do. And even though you have to start working for free sometimes, you know, and that's kind of like how it is, because if you start helping somebody and you bring your skills in, then they're going to have to do the same for you. You know, they're like, hey, you know what? I helped you, you know, now you help me. And that's kind of like how the industry starts working. But I started doing choreography with, there was a film that a friend of mine did. I mean, this is I think when there's a guy named Salwin Ward. He used to be a Power Ranger on the Power Ranger series. And he was doing a film that was called The Historian Paradox. And they needed a fight choreographer for that, to do a couple of moves that would look it had to look in a way that it was futuristic, that this person had so much skills that it would be very easy for him to be able to take somebody down, right? So we got to we show up to the set, and I start working with him. We start doing a couple of techniques, and of course, they liked it. He's like, oh, that looks really awesome. I'll be able to turn this guy's arm and he'll be able to drop down, and it's very realistic in a way that if a martial artist looking at it, it's like, yeah, that would definitely work right on this scene. So that's when I started. That's one of the things that I remember kind of highlighted where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. So bit by bit, then I started getting invited to do this and that, and you start just doing it. You start helping with, camera work or lighting, or, you start just, enjoying the process, right? And then later on, I hear, this guy that, this is a project that we're doing here in San Fernando. And there was a director, his name is Michael Centeno. And I know he posted it on Backstage and different, places where actors could go and put in their resumes or their photos. And he was looking for somebody that would portray a Mexican luchador, or to the wrestler. And I didn't see it in Backstage, but I had a friend that told me that he was looking for somebody. It was a student of mine. And I said, would you do it? I told him about you, that you've been doing choreography, you're a real martial artist. Why would they forget a fake guy? Let them use a real guy. And it's like, I said, I'll meet with him. I'll give him a call. And I got together with him, and we sat down, and, we started he started telling me about his film, and yeah, and he cast me for it. And then I got a couple people to be able to do the choreography with me, and we did that film. Now that film, it's been around in festivals. It's called El Espíritu, and it's been in the Georgia Latino Film Festival. It's been in a couple New York film festivals. It's been down in Mexico and different places. So people are really enjoying that film.
That's awesome. The funny thing, actually, now that you mentioned it, I worked with Michael Centeno.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
We worked at a nonprofit over in San Fernando. It's called You Speak, about 2010, probably from 2010 2013. Okay. And he was teaching film there and photography and everything arts related. And I was actually teaching soccer and stuff, and I was one of the soccer coaches there. Okay. That's such a small world. I had no idea. Yeah.
So it's his film, man.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna hit him up. I'm like, hey, dude, how you doing, man? It's been a while.
Yeah. So yeah, he did, and I mean, right now I know he's busy doing other stuff for the community, and but the guy has so much talent, he's got a good eye to creating things, and
he does.
I hope he does more. He does more when it comes to film and media and stuff like that. But that's my thoughts. He's an awesome guy.
Well, you yourself, you're talented too. You have a short film out this year, right?
Yeah, it's called The Revenge of the Titan, and it has to do with the DC universe. I know the characters there are Mr. Terrific, Nightwing, Aqualad, Static Shock, and then I play one of the characters called Gangbuster, which is this Latino character that's, I think he came out in a couple of Superman comic books. So the writer took that, and he wanted a Latino character, and then I told him, yeah, man, I want to do that. I want to do that. I like it. But I only got a couple minutes within the film because I was taking care of everything else. Yeah, so these guys, we started getting together, we started practicing, we started doing all the choreography, and it's something that he wanted, that they wanted to do. And but a few days before shooting, the guy that was going to record and do the audio and everything, they quit. Something happened before, doing the first scene, and I talked to Michael, which is the writer, Michael Fallon. I think his Instagram name is Kingdom something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. We're putting in later. But anyway, Mike Fallon, his name is Mike Fallon. I told him, let's do it. We have everything ready. We've been practicing for a couple months now. Might as well just shoot it. Let's find the camera or the camera lights and everything. Just do it. And, I used my talents, whatever I could, and helping them out. And it turned into me not just doing the fight choreography, but actually co-directing with him. So it was a great opportunity. And, we got a lot of actors to be able to work their magic, and to be able to not only use promote, I would say, martial arts, but I think it brings life to a bunch of characters that a lot of people enjoy, that read comic books. And I'll tell you right now, I don't know anything about comic books. He knows everything about it, but yeah, I think it's important to be able to help somebody in what their vision is, and if you have the skills, why not? And so yeah, right now it's gonna be in the International Urban Action Showcase Film Festival, and that's from November 6th up to the 14th. And then we're going to have a watch party on the 12th. So people could actually go in. It's going to be a virtual festival, but people could actually go in and watch the film. It's going to be $5 to be able to watch it, but they're able, they're helping us out to be able to get awards, and they could also donate for other projects that we have in mind and doing.
That's exciting.
That's super exciting.
Yeah.
And with all the work that you've done, have you ever had to turn work down because you said, like, hey, you know what, this doesn't really ring a bell with my ethics or my upbringing as far as morality goes?
Yeah, I think I was, there's certain things that I don't want to do anymore, because before I would get cast as let's say the gangster or the thug, and I kind of decided, like, hey, yeah, you know what, I don't want to do those characters anymore. I want to play like somebody important now. I want to play somebody that, yeah, I want to be the good guy. I don't want to be a bad guy. It's like I don't want to portray, something that it's so minimal, that, but that's the way they look. When they look at somebody that looks like me, and they look at my skin, they look how I look, and it's like, yeah, the guy must be like a bad guy or whatever, But no, I don't want to portray those things. I wanna be able to help and be able to bring films out where you see different ethnicities that are coming up in the world. I want to see a Latino or a guy that looks like me to play a lawyer or a tech guy or anything, but most of the roles that, especially within this industry, is you're playing the bad guy, you're playing the server, or the maid, the farmer, right? The guy that's selling lotus in the corner, and you know what I mean, and you become kind of like a comic relief, and I don't, I think that now with the people that are coming up now, we're getting more people that are becoming that's what we need. We need more people that are becoming directors, becoming producers, creating our own content, and be able to move forward with that. And I spoke to that with a director. His name is Art Camacho, and I've been working with him, and I see him, he's kind of like a mentor to me. He does choreography, does different films, and he always asks me these questions, right? And he makes me think all the time in what I want to do within this industry. And I tell him, I feel I'm very emotional about it. When I tell him, hey, you know what, I want to build something where we're able to distribute, work, and have so many things happening, and then some, and then one of the things he tells me is like, well, you know what, you have to become great.
Yeah.
It's like you. In a way, you have to change your mind and be tough to be able to build yourself and create yourself. And by doing that, you're going to pull people with you. And that's the empowerment of directors and producers and everything that we need them and them to focus, laser focus for a period of time, so we could have more of those, more content and films, and to be able to bring out into our community.
Yeah, and one thing that's interesting is that obviously there's a responsibility of the directors to do well, but there's also a sense of responsibility for, like, as an actor or as a martial artist, that like, hey, I want to go into that industry. Like, what type of advice would you say to someone that says, like, I'm not meeting people, or I'm not getting anything at all? Like, what would you say, like, to that person?
Keep going. Don't get discouraged, because it only takes one contact. It takes one person that sees something in you, and that person connects you to somebody. You go into a set, you meet somebody else, and you meet somebody else.
You just have to be right once, huh? Yeah,
you just have to be. you have to keep going, and you'll meet somebody, But put your work out there, Even if you have to film it yourself, don't wait for somebody to find you, and you create your own first, and put an image out there of what you want, so when people see it, you have something already set up. You're like, oh yeah, man, this guy's pretty good, because you're looking at, for example, right now you're looking at a time issue, right? Let's say if I'm a director, say you're a director, right? And if I come in and I don't show you any work and I'm not experienced at all, your time is very valuable. So when I come and I'm going to do my thing, you're going to be wasting so much time because I'm not talented, or I don't have the skills enough. And you're going to have to be trying to direct me and do and waste time, right? And you don't want that director to waste time. So when you come in already with skills, you already know what to do. That director knows, oh, I'm not going to be wasting time with this guy. He already knows exactly what we're going to do. So you come in and it's like, you already know what to do. You do the choreography, blah, 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 blah. You're out, right? So once you build yourself a little video resume and you have all these things, then people know that you know how to do the stuff. You know how to do it.
Yeah, that's so good.
So like get good. For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be like, you need to be good.
Yeah.
Get your work out there and meet people, right?
Yes, meet people.
Like, I guess you can't be a jerk in this industry, right?
No, and this is like stories you hear. You hear stories that, all these negative stories you hear in filmmaking and all this. My experience, at least my view on it, is like, man, everybody that I work with enjoys what they're doing. They want to create something good. They want to work hard for what they're doing. I mean, and from the lighting guy to the audio guy, they're trying to do the best that they can. So I haven't seen any negative on my part when it comes to crew and things, so that's been my experience. Hopefully I'll keep going that way.
Networking is important, and just being a people person, just be nice,
I just don't be a jerk, man.
Yeah.
Just be cool. Have you, so you're of the Christian faith, have you ever gotten any kind of like pushback or any has anyone ever maybe commented on your career, on your art form?
Not much, but they have commented on my martial arts. So I mean, they look at something like, oh, you know what, you believe in Christ, but you do martial arts, that's very violent, it's really bad. There's certain spirits that you might open when you're meditating and this and that. So it's a concept that people have, but no, I have to kind of sit them down and say, hey, listen, look, I keep myself sharp, practicing martial arts, but I don't get into any of those things, and and I'm not trying to experiment any of those things. You know what I mean? But I mean, some of the guys in the Bible, I mean, they were all warriors. If you start thinking about it, I mean, you got King David, you got Samson, you got all these guys. Man,
it blows my mind when people are like, "Oh, we should be so pacifist, so passive." Like, and this is the thing also about like for me about like Christian movies. Like, stop making PG Christian movies. Like, have you read the Bible? Like, they be cutting people's heads off. There, there's massacre.
It's really bad.
Like if you're out there, you don't read your Bible. Read your Bible.
Because it's reality.
Right.
It's reality.
Exactly.
Look. We see what's going on in the world right now with Armenia and all this stuff that's happening right now. I mean, it's crazy, right? And that's the world we live in. And we're so blessed and we're so fortunate to be in this country where we're comfortable. You know, and our kids don't have to worry so much about that. But in other countries, they have to worry about other things that we don't worry about here. I know we were talking about wealth and all that. Just being in this country, just if you have 75 cents in your pocket, you're wealthier than a high percentage of everybody out there.
If you got shoes on,
Yeah.
you know, like if you have like a floor,
right, and so you're blessed just to be in this country. You know what I mean? So
and you can make it. You can really. That's one of the beautiful things about, I think, this country is that if you really work hard, you can really make it. Like, there's people that I know that came from nothing and now they're really, really like multimillionaires, and it's just like, wow, like they pushed and they worked hard.
Right. I think, I mean, look, in the film industry, the minorities are pretty much a small percentage, you know, and so you're going against an industry that is going to be tough on you, you know, but you could look at it this way. You could be like, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna do it because it's not gonna be worth it. I'm not gonna make it. You know, you could put that mindset, or you could put your mindset in like, hey, you know what? Nobody's ever made it. You know what? I think I'm that guy, right? So I think that's my mentality. It's like, hey, you know what? Last time I went to, my wife went to do her nails at a swap meet, you know, like right here in Van Nuys, and I know she likes that lady that does the nails there, and so I'm sitting down waiting for her, and I looked at a printing shop, and they had all these comic book heroes with Latino brown faces stuck to them, like for like calendars, you know, like for parties, right? Like, oh, I want to be Spider-Man, and then they put Spider-Man. Oh, I want to be Thor, and then Thor, right? But then I started looking at them. It's like, there's no real guys that look like me that are superheroes on the screen. You know what I mean? And if you look at superheroes like in Latin culture, you know, what do we have? We have, Chapulín Colorado. You know, what Zorro. Heroes do we have? Zorro, yeah, maybe, right? But then you don't see guys that are like me. Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I think this is my next challenge. You know what? I want to become an actor that portrays a hero and be able to do something with that and be able to, I don't know. You know what? I really don't know what's going to happen, but it's just something that it's itching in me that it doesn't leave me alone. And that kind of tells me, you know what? You need to do this. Yeah. So I'm putting myself in, even though, you know, there's probably people that are not going to understand what I'm trying to do, or people are going to, you know, be negative about it, or it doesn't matter. I'm just willing to swim against the current and be able to do something and
pave the way. Yeah,
and then right now, I wrote something. It's called El Manoplas de Oro, and I've written other 2 stories. But El Manoplas de Oro is about a guy that it's oh man, how could I tell you a story? Science fiction. Okay, so he finds a treasure in the pyramids of Teotihuacan. Okay, when he's a younger man, he finds them, and he finds this ancient technology, and it gives him powers. and then he's able to do certain things. So I'm certain things with those things, and we find out that there's something that are used for traveling in space. He's not aging as fast. There's certain things that happen, but he becomes like a father figure to this other character named Benny. And I'm not gonna tell you more, but
yeah, don't give all the spoilers.
But that's the next thing that I'm working on, and I think that's something that I'm gonna dedicate myself to do within the next 5 years. So that's where I'm at with that. So my focus is to bring that into reality. And that's what happens with everything. I mean, we bring what we have in our minds and our thoughts. We either let it stay there, but we have the power, and God has given us the power to be able to create it. And how many people go to their graves that they have so many ideas and things that they want to do, but they never realized it because they didn't have they cared about what people thought. They didn't decide to do it, and time goes and we waste our time. So if you're listening to this podcast, if you are if you're that person that wants to do something with your life and you're stuck in that box, and you're going to work at a job that you hate, I would say that, you need to write a plan to be able to do the things that you want to do. It doesn't have to be film or anything that I'm doing here. It could be anything, but do it because, it's like the lotus flower. Sometimes we're having fun out there, or we're giving time to somebody else instead of giving those important years to creating something that we were meant to do. And I think God puts all these seeds in you, and he puts them there for a reason. And I mean, what's going to happen when you show up and you die and it's like, hey, what happened? My life was a mess. What happened? And you show up, it's like, well, we gave you all this, man. I gave you all the ideas, and all you had to do was act on it, and you didn't do it. How are you going to feel?
That's the thing about artists, though, right? Like, artists we were meant to create. We were meant to make something out of nothing. We were meant to, make what's in our heads and our imaginations a reality. But we're always so concerned about, what if it sucks? What are people gonna think? What if I don't fail? And I think you're right, and I appreciate it that we just need to do it.
Yeah,
just need to create.
A lot of this podcast was really just that. We're like, oh man, because Angel and I, we're both, I don't want to say perfectionists, but we like high quality.
That's good.
And we were like, oh, but it's not going to sound good. It's not gonna look good. Like we were trying to put all these excuses, and then we were just like, you know what? Let's just do it. Like, we just got to start, do it. With time, it's going to get better. And I think you just practice your craft more and more, and you just start getting better, and you're going to start landing those bigger gigs, those bigger jobs, those bigger, it's just, you just got to start somewhere. And I think that's important, because as artists and as creatives, we're our biggest critics, man.
Yeah. Hey,
totally.
My first film that I did, it was something that I did with my brother, and, so I told him, hey, I want to record something. It's like, but you don't have anything. I'm like, doesn't matter. I got a camera. I got, I'll film it. I'll do it. And you don't even have a boom mic. It's okay. I'll use my headphones. Wow. I actually use my headphones for a boom mic.
Wow.
Yeah, because you can use them. So I actually just put a stick with a headset, and that was my mic. And that, that's where I got all my sound from. And I just that's
so guerrilla filmmaking.
Yeah, man, that's innovation.
Yeah, that's And I went to see these guys from Vietnam. They were making a film, and they invited me to do some of the choreography and to be part of their film. So I was like a bad guy in this one. And I saw what they were using. I was like, wow, they created their own dolly, they created their own stuff, you know, and they're just, you know, innovating with what they have, you know, but they made it happen, you know. So look at you look at the guy who did in mariachi, you know, he was using a cart.
That guy is he's all of our inspiration.
Right.
Robert Rodriguez.
Oh
man, this guy made El Mariachi for what did he say, like $7,000 or something like that. It's still known as the cheapest film ever made that actually made like over $1 million.
Wow.
But that guy inspires us all. Someone you need to check out too on YouTube. His YouTube username is Pony Smasher. But he directed his most recent film was Shazam. And I think he did some horror film, but he posts these shorts. And most of them are horror, but then he shows how he made them, and it's insane what like the tools that he uses. He like his biggest thing is like you don't need like millions of dollars to create something good. Yeah, it's like you just need to put head together and like make it happen. But you should check him out; it's really good.
Okay, I'll check him out. You gotta text me that.
I will.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. He's really good, but yeah, Gio, we're excited for your future. We're excited to see your future work. Thank you so much for joining us here. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was a huge pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. Where can people find your work?
Well, I post most of my stuff on Instagram right now, and I got away from social media a couple of years ago, but I'm kind of coming back now.
The comeback, bro.
Yeah. So, but you can find me at Gio Perez Official on Instagram, and I mean I'm starting my. I have a Facebook page. It's called just Gio Perez. I think it's a fan page. And yeah, but most of the stuff that most of the content is on the Instagram one. So you can find me there. You could email me if you have any more questions. And trust me, I'll take time to look it over. Usually at least once a week I get into my email and I check whatever I need to check. So
awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you guys. Okay. I hope you have much success in what you're doing here.
Thank you. Same goes to you.
Same.
All right.